Today we want to take a look at producing the working drawings for the gear puller screw. On this one, we did find that for the front view, it is easier to just make a copy of it, convert it to lines, and then set all the line thicknesses to the correct thickness. On that front view, all of these outside edges are going to be completed with a 0.5 solid line. The threads we could do as a 0.3 line, but what we found was it shows up a little better on the print if we change those to a 0.25. So that's a real easy one to get started on. And then we found that it's much easier to do the right side and the left side by just drawing those individually. They're the same drawing, just the lines are set to different thicknesses and the dashes are set different depending on which way you're looking at the screw. If we look in at it from the left side of the view, all we'll really see is this knob, and we'll see this 5/8 inch diameter circle where the ends of the knob are rounded off. All of the other lines turn into dashed hidden lines because they'd be hidden behind the knob if we looked at it from this left side. On the right side, what we would see if we looked in from the right direction is we would see the edge that's formed where the cone meets this first cylinder. So we see that edge right here on this smaller circle. We would see this 13/32 cylinder. That's the line that we see right here. If we could zoom in on this, we would see the outside edge, the crest diameter of the threads, which is this 1/2 inch line. But then there is a hidden line real close to that, which shows the root diameter of the threads at 0.422. And then we see the 5/8 inch circle where the edge is formed by rounding this over on the far side of the knob. So that's the different parts of this drawing. To get started on that, all I'm going to do is take a copy of one of the screws. And in the front view, I'm going to just paste it right here. Now that's the one that I'll get started with, like I said, where we'll convert that into lines. And all I'm going to do with that is ungroup it. Set all of those lines to black and 0.5. And now I'm just going to take the threads, set those back to 0.25. And I'm going to group that all together and lock it. Now let's draw first the right side view, and then we'll just copy it over and make it to the left side view. The knob is a 5/8 inch square and just rotate it at 45 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw in the 5/8 inch square. I'm going to align that in place where it needs to be. And I'm going to rotate that 45 degrees. Here we go. Now let's just start with our largest circle and work our way towards the cone. So over here we have the 5/8 inch diameter circle. That one, if you're not sure what I mean on that, we can see it better in this view right here. It's this 5/8 inch diameter circle right here that's formed on the knob. That's that one. That one's eventually going to be a hidden line and 0.35. The next one that we'll see is this 1/2 inch diameter, which is the same as the crest diameter of the threads. Then we'll have the root diameter, which is just 0.422. That one is going to be 0.35 and a dashed hidden line. I'm going to set all these thicknesses right away. There we go. Now the next one, the next circle that we'll see is this 13/32. And the last one is just going to be where this cone meets that cylinder, which is 0.213 diameter. And that's all the circles that we need for that. Now you can see the last thing that we'll need to do is add the center mark. So I'm going to go to the 0.35 thickness, the center mark tool. I'm going to try center marking just this one right here, and there we go. Now what I'm going to do with that is just copy, paste in place. Now I will eventually set up some distances to match this drawing a lot closer. But for right now, all I need to do is change the lines on this group right here. This is the one that we said everything is going to be a 0.5 or a 0.35 hidden line. So I found it easier to just change all of those. Now I'm going to go back and just change the lines back that are supposed to be the solid lines. In this case, the outside edge will be a 0.5. Solid line. This 5/8 diameter circle also will be a 0.5 solid line. And the center mark will also be a solid line. but that'll stay 0.35. They're the views for the working drawing of the screw. Now it's ready to start adding all the dimensions using just the linear dimension tool for most of them, the radial dimension tool for this one diameter, and to dimension the two angles, these two 30-degree angles, all we'll do is draw in a couple of lines. We'll use those lines and the angular dimension tool to put in those dimensions. We don't need the values set out that high, so I'm going to change that back to 30 degrees. Now, if the dimension disappears when we select one of these lines and delete it, like that, we'll need to take the dimension, right-click it, and disassociate it from those lines. Now I can delete those lines. The dimension stays right where I need it to be. And I'm ready to go to finish up with the dimensions on here. Now, I would edit it and modify it to try to make it look like these. We can do that with some of the settings in the dimension tools by simply doing arrows outside like that, and there we go. That's how we get started on the working drawings for the screw assembly.